All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking about if you can skip out on those payments, what that looks like. The term is forbearance. Our boy here, Addison, is going to really go in depth of what that means and everything you need to know about it. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Jackson Ray Wilkey.
Jesse Ray Dow.
And our main man,
Addie Net.
That's right. We are the Real Agent Now group right here in the Portland Metro. Hey, if this is your first time to this channel, you want to learn everything about working, eating, sleeping, living, playing, and the forbearance, make sure you tap that subscribe button. Click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. We are all getting so many phone calls each and every week from people moving, relocating here who have those questions, and we absolutely love it. If you're thinking about moving, relocating, make sure you reach out to us and give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send that pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to the Portland Metro. All right, so we wanted to do this video. It's been something that's been discussed a lot. We're getting lots of calls, and it's always out there in the air. I'm going to kick it to you, Addie. First of all, what is forbearance and what does it mean?
Yeah, first and foremost, our hearts definitely go out to any individual or family that's been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And I can't explain how many calls I've taken over the last 30 days regarding forbearance and the subject at hand here. So there's a lot of confusion when it comes to what this means, right? So hopefully today we can break down some just distilled definitions so you can walk away knowing exactly what it is and what's at risk here. So with forbearance, it is not being alleviated from making your mortgage payment. It is essentially pushing the payment down the road and adding it to your current unpaid balance. So I like to look at it kind of like a bar tab. Say you belly up, you have a great night. Yeah, as Jackson would say, slugging back them brewskis.
Yeah.
And you forgot your wallet. And the bartender knows you're a good dude. You've had an excellent payment history, and you just can't make this payment. Doesn't mean it goes away. The next time you roll around to visit that bar again, which in the mortgage world is the first of every month, that is still due. So the biggest thing to know is it doesn't go away, and you need to call your servicing company. So I hear that a lot. Now, what is your servicing company? When you get your monthly mortgage statement, look at that statement. Whatever logo is up on that piece of paper, digitally or physically, that's your mortgage servicer. Be proactive on calling, because technically any repayment is a negotiation between the person that owns the home and the servicer of the loan. So it's very important to call and be proactive about communicating. They're going to document everything. They're going to be like, oh, this person called whatever date, whatever time. So it's important to be proactive regarding reaching out to the servicer.
And with that being said, just to really emphasize on this, I know you can't say this is the program 100% every time. It's going to be different with these servicers, but what you mean is that when you come back after not paying 1 month, do you just pick up where you left off with your same payment, or is it now doubled, or what does that look like?
Yeah. So say your mortgage payment's $2,000. You call your mortgage servicing company. Hey, sorry, I lost my job. I've been affected by the pandemic. Oh, no problem, sir. And this is all hypothetical.
Yep.
No problem, sir. We will push your payment to next month. Okay. So then you roll around next month, you're back to work. You still owe that $2,000 and you owe the current month. So that's $4,000. It doesn't go away. So then you go to Mr. Servicer again. It's like, I can't pay the $4,000. Jackson, I can't do it. So they're going to work out once again another repayment schedule. So what I'm really worried about is if people push it down and keep renegotiating, it's going to turn into one of those payday loan situations where you're paying it off forever. And who knows, hopefully you have a decent servicer, but read all the fine print. They're going to disclose agreements and disclosures for the repayment, and be very educated in what you're getting yourselves into, and do everything you can regarding prioritizing your overhead payment versus other obligations.
So is there a way to protect yourself? Like if you were going to do a forbearance for yourself, how would you ask the bank to handle that?
Well, first I would address other things that have less circumstances or less consequence to not paying and more flexibility to restructuring. For example, consumer revolving debt, also known as credit card debt. So the credit card servicing companies have a lot more flexibility when it comes to just pushing it down the road or just stacking up the balance to the next month. So I would address those first if this is talking about me. Then the next one would be auto loans. I'm seeing a ton of flexibility just through advertisements of the auto industry because the United States economy is heavily driven within financing automobiles. I know that Jesse and I have talked about that in other circumstances many times, but I would address those two things first. There's a lot of creative ways to push payments down the road that isn't forbearance directly tied to your largest asset, your home.
Right.
Is there any forbearance plans out there that would essentially say I owed, say I owed 100 more payments on my house where I could skip this month and make this month's payment 101 at the back end, or does that not exist?
I've heard of FHA programs having those where you can essentially roll it into the equity, but once again, all the research I've done, and I haven't called and pretended I'm not making my mortgage payment, which I guess we could potentially try and see what happens. But everything I read, it's per servicer because they're the ones that hold the note. They're essentially your investor for your biggest asset, so they call the shots. So I can't speak to what I've seen and what's out there. And then two, also like a lot of the media out there, it's like so much fear-based stuff, and yeah, it's really scary and whatnot, but make the call and figure out what your options are. Make it, but list out your obligations. And if you need help, hit me up. I have so many spreadsheets, like all throughout, actually not so much Jackson, but Jesse and I are spreadsheet nerds. We have tons of spreadsheets and resources to help get you organized and prioritize what's financially due, and I really think it can help.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, because I think like the biggest misconception out there is that like when people heard mortgage forbearance, they just instantly thought that the government was going to forgive their loans. It's not mortgage forgiveness. So I think some people actually stopped making their mortgage payments and thought they could just call in, and that's really incorrect information or thought, because once you miss 2 payments, you instantly go into pre-foreclosure. So and if you ever make it into pre-foreclosure, that's going to ding your credit pretty hard. And even if you do go into pre-foreclosure, there is a way to get out of it. I've actually helped someone get out of pre-foreclosure before, and we can work with the title companies to make that happen. Even if you owe a certain amount of money on your mortgage and you need to sell your house fast, we can get the mortgage or the title company to agree on selling your house at a certain level. That way you can get out of your mortgage if you need to. On the other hand, is we actually really work hard to keep people in their house. So reach out to a professional and get their insights and their professional opinion before you start making decisions without consulting with a professional. That would be my 2 cents of, my 2 cents offerings is just reach out.
Yeah. And I know I saw some deals like they're not going to report any missed payments for 6 months. I read an article on that, right? So maybe and once again, it goes back to working with the servicer. But if you don't get caught up in 6 months and it hits your credit and shows up as a late, like you're looking at a year plus till you can buy or even refinance to something. So you're forced to sell or you're stuck and you're dinged forever. And lastly, and I know Jackson wants to hop in here, but just spill out like a couple utility things. Like over here in Oregon, Northwest Natural Gas, like $50-$60 a month. Verizon, depending on how big of a company you are, your mobile bill, AT&T, all that, it's $100 to $250 depending on the size of the family you have. Your internet, just start listing it. It's so easy to come up with $400 to $800 in utility stuff that all those people are going to push that back. And then if you're using your stim check correctly, you should be able to make a payment and get back to work. So it's got to be like a little bit of an effort. We just can't blow your stim check on partypoker.com and then be like, I need to go to Forbearance.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the overwhelming, this is just something that's come up a lot. We wanted to just kind of give you a lot of the facts that, yes, it's not like having this forbearance, you can just miss payments and it's going to be fine. These are long-term effects that can take a long time to get out of. So we will just kind of end it with that. And that's what we wanted to get across, is that we can have these conversations with you, you know, reaching out to us. We'll talk to, we're having these conversations with lots and lots of people here locally in Portland and that are thinking about moving. But the only way that we can do that is if you reach out to us. You got to give us a call, you know, shoot us a text, send us an email, send us that pigeon carrier day, night, weekend. We don't stop working for you here in the Portland Metro. So until the next video, guys,
We'll
catch you later.